So Pete Alonso just signed a 5-year, $155 million contract with the Orioles. That's 5 more than what Kyle Schwarber got from the Philadelphia Phillies just a couple days ago. And man, you would have thought the Mets just lost the greatest player of all time, who just won back-to-back World Series titles, was the MVP of said World Series. It is just incredible, the reaction, and it's apropos that my last video that I just made was in relation to Met fans, because they are just, and this just amplifies it even more, they are just truly the most irrational, illogical, nonsensical fan in the potential, definitely in Major League Baseball, but potentially in all of sports. I mean, obviously Philly fans are up there, Boston fans are up there to some degree, that whole Northeast area, but Pete Alonso, and I get he's homegrown, and I get he broke Darryl Strawberry's franchise record for home runs last year. I get he won Rookie of the Year. He's had a litany of seasons with over 40 home runs. Last year he had 38, over 120 RBIs. He's a power source that just cannot be duplicated easy. And I get that, I relent that. He's a phenomenal hitter, but I want to emphasize that he's a phenomenal hitter. He's a terrible defensive player. He had -9 outs above average last year, the same number the year prior. He was a net even the year prior, -8 the year before that. And not to mention, obviously, he's one of the slowest players in the entire sport. He's not going to steal you a bag. He's not going to go first to third on a single. He's not going to steal, obviously. If he's not providing home run power, if he's not providing that bases clearing double, which he does very often, but if he's not providing all that, he's not a beneficial player. And I understand it. I'm not a Met fan. I should have prefaced that before the start of this video. So I understand the sentimentality with a player like that. An icon. I mean, he would have got his jersey retired. Probably, he might still. He would have been up there with the greatest of all time in that franchise if he would have stayed there and won a world championship. But I want to harp on that as well. He didn't win a world championship. You know, I mentioned that earlier in the video. You'd have thought he just came off back-to-back World Series champions. They didn't win with him. They won 83 games last year. They won 89 the year prior, snuck into the playoffs after a historic second-half run, which, looking at him now, zooming out, is probably a bit of an outlier. Won 75 the year prior. They did win that 101. They did win 101 games in 22, but that is on the heels of losing to the Braves to relent the division when they should have won the division. And they won 77 games the year prior. They didn't win anything with Pete Alonso. And I get he wasn't the main culprit as to why they didn't win a World Series or win the pennant. But man, let's trust David Stearns if you're a Met fan. Let's trust that he has a vision. He built those Brewers teams from nothing with a middling of the pack payroll to a division contender, a playoff contender every single season. Let's see what he can do. And I get it. It just happened. So you're going to have irrational reactions. I don't want to keep being redundant. So I get the fandom. I really do. You buy his jersey for Christmas. You buy his jersey for birthdays, for Hanukkah. It's hanging up there every day. You know, you tune in to see him. Even in those lean years that I mentioned, you're probably just tuning in just to see him clock in every 4 times and to see if he can knock him out of the park. I get that. I do. There's more to the game than just winning. But damn, if you want to see a winner, and I get that should supersede everything. It should. What if they sign Cody Bellinger? What if they sign Kyle Tucker? What if they trade for Tarek Skubal and all of a sudden this team wins the National League East and competes with the Dodgers and vies for the World Series champion? Are you going to be thinking about Pete Alonso? Are you going to be thinking about the polar bear? Are you going to be thinking about him? No. And if you are, then you're not a reasonable fan. You're not really trying to win. You just want to latch on to players and have a good time watching the games and following the team you love, but you're not really trying to win, because if you are, you'll trust your GM that has a track record of winning to concoct a team that can win. And if he felt that letting Pete Alonso go, if he felt that not paying a 31-year-old 5 years, $155 million who can't play a lick of defense, yes, he can scoop. Met fans, don't flood me with comments. I understand he's a prolific scooper. But other than scooping, hitting doubles, and hitting home runs, he does nothing else. And I get, obviously, that the latter are tremendously valuable. But if David thinks he can replace that somewhat and find somebody that can play immensely better defense, way more fleet of foot, more analytically driven, then I trust him. And you should too. Let his vision play out. Because the vision that the prior regime had, Brodie Van Wagenen, it didn't succeed. So I understand it's raw emotion. It just occurred, and on the heels of losing Edwin Diaz to the Dodgers, nonetheless, to a deal that maybe you would have thought that Steve Cohen would have said, let me pay that. Only 3 for 69. I get it. Trust me. You know, I don't want to be redundant, but I get it. I do. But let's not be irrational. Let's let this simmer for a little couple days, and then let's let David cook. All right, Met fans, relax. You can still build a winner. You can still win the division next year. You can still have sustained success without Pete Alonso. You know why? You know how I know that? Because you didn't win with Pete. All right, thanks for watching. And if you did enjoy it, consider liking the video and consider subscribing. Share with a friend, comment, all that jazz. Appreciate y'all.